Hello everybody, this is Matt Lunzer with GLM Displays, and in this video I just wanted to go over real quickly what a vector logo is. And just for context, in our line of work we print large format graphics, primarily trade show displays, and so our customer might come to us and say, hey, we'd like to get a display and we want our logo nice and big and center on that display. And we say, no problem, go ahead and send over that logo, and there'll be some other design elements involved, of course, but we'll help our customers set that out. And what we get often, and this happens a lot, what we get from our customer is a JPEG or a PNG, so something like this. And this will look fantastic on their in their emails. It'll look great as maybe on the header of their website. It'll look fantastic when printed on business cards, things like that. But when we have to scale it up and make something large, and print that logo large, we have to tell them, like, hey, it's not going to print very well, and do you have a vector version of that logo that we can use? And there will be a big pause, and they'll say, well, what's a vector? What's a vector file? So that's the point of this video, just to quickly explain what we're talking about. All right, so in this right now I'm in Adobe Illustrator, and I have two versions of this customer's logo. One is vector and one is what we would call rasterized. Okay, so this is actually just an image, just like a photograph. This one here, and this is vector, and we can kind of tell that already because there's all these little blue lines surrounding the elements when we click on it. And side by side right now they look fine. One looks a little bit better, but to the normal person they might both be acceptable. But the problem is when we start to enlarge this file. As you can see, the bottom one here, which is the PNG file, if we were to blow this up to say 6-8 feet wide, even 4 feet or 2 feet, it's going to start to look bitmapped. It's going to start to have this jagged edge, which is not acceptable. We don't want to print that. You don't want that. What we want, or what you want to make sure your logo looks good and sharp, is something like this. So we can scale this pretty much infinitely and still have pinpoint sharpness and resolution. Okay, so in a nutshell, that's the difference between a vector logo versus something that's not vector, or what we would call rasterized. Now, I also wanted to just explain real quick what file formats you would be looking for. The type of file formats that are going to have a vector version of your logo is primarily going to be one of three options. It's going to be either an AI file, which is Adobe Illustrator file, usually has a little icon like that. It could be an EPS file, also can be created by Adobe Illustrator, but other programs can export files into an EPS, and probably the most common that we see is a PDF. And pretty much everybody's familiar with PDFs these days. All three of these can have your logo in a vector format, but they might not. What I try to explain to customers, because sometimes they'll say, hey, I sent you that logo, and we'll say, well, it's still not vector, would you have a copy of that in a vector format? And I said, well, I don't understand, I sent you an AI file, that should be a vector. Well, think of all of these as just a box. Okay, any file format like this is a box, and what's inside of it is unknown until you open it. The nice thing with a PDF is at least the box is see-through. Okay, I can't really, without opening up this file in Adobe Illustrator, I can't say for certain what's inside of it, but at least I can see that it's this logo. Where an EPS or an AI file might not give you the preview, depending on what kind of system that you're using. So let me just show you this here. If I open up this one in AI. As you can see, it looks sharp right when I open it up, but the first thing that I'll notice is if you look right up here, it's a link to an image, or actually this image is embedded in this file, which is a whole nother kind of video, but it is a PNG. So even though it's saved as an EPS file, or I'm sorry, this was the AI Adobe Illustrator file, as you can see when I zoom in on this, it doesn't look very good. So for context, here's a product that we sell, very common product. So this is essentially roughly 8 feet high, 10 feet wide. It's a hop-up display. And I have that template opened up in Adobe Illustrator. So if my customer wanted this logo large and in charge on top of that 10 foot wide, 8 foot high display, and I put this logo in here, even right now as I lay out this design, it might look okay to you, but we're looking at something that's only a few inches wide on our computer screen. So I could show my customer this proof, and they would say, hey, that looks good, that's exactly the way we want it. But when we print it, I'm going to go into again, I'm in Adobe Illustrator here. I'm going to zoom in, and actually I'll just zoom in to 100%. So as you can see right now, I'm only at 50%, okay, of the print size. It already looks bitmapped and pixelated. Okay, here we're at 100% print size. See where it says 100% right here? If I printed this and sent it out to my customer, they would rightfully have a complaint. They would be irate. We wouldn't be doing our job. And I don't think any printer would do that. But this is why we'll tell the customer, like, I'm sorry, but that file that you have is not going to print well. And so they'll need to get a vector file. Now, if you don't have a vector format, you only have, over the years, maybe somebody had it, but they're gone, they don't work there anymore, the computer crashed, whatever, you just don't have it. We can convert these files for you. There can be a cost depending on the project or the complexity of it. So we can do a logo conversion, basically recreate that logo and make it a vector file. There's other companies that do that too. That's not our primary focus in life, but we'd be more than happy to do that for you, even if you're not buying a display from us. Because ultimately this is what we want. Get rid of this, and when we zoom in here to 100%, like so, everything's going to print nice and sharp. So hopefully that helps answer a question that you might have regarding what a vector file is and what that means to you and why we need it to print something good that you're going to be happy with. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call or shoot us an email. We'd be more than happy to discuss your project with you. Thanks very much for watching, and have a good day.